Hello, my name is Amber and welcome back to my channel. Lily is saying hello as well. Today we are doing another unhaul. It's going to be my winter end of the year book unhaul. I just recently did a fall unhaul, but I feel like there are a couple more books that I just need to purge from my shelves, especially since I've read a couple of these recently. So let's just get started. First up in this unhaul is the I Hunt Killer series by Barry Lyga with I Hunt Killer, Game, and Blood of My Blood. I decided to unhaul this series because it's been on my shelf for a while and I read the whole series, but I don't see myself gravitating towards it again, especially since I don't think I'll love it as much as I did the first time around, and I feel like this is a kind of series where someone who's getting new into crime thrillers will really enjoy it. Next up is this manga, Secret of the Princess. I enjoyed this manga when I read it, however I'm starting to see more flaws with it as the time has progressed, and I don't want it on my shelf anymore, especially since I've only read it once. I'd like to have more space for manga that I would love. Next up is another series. First two books in the Stillhouse Lake series by Rachel Kane, Stillhouse Lake and Kilman Creek. I decided to unhaul this series because I found out that there's going to be another book, and I just liked where this story had ended, but as I said in my previous unhaul, I don't like to keep books if I know I'm not going to continue on in the series, which is the case for this. A similar thing can be said for Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This book I enjoyed at the time, however, as I've put distance between me and the book, I'm wondering if the hype was the reason I gave it such a high rating or if it was actually me, and I kind of just don't want to reread it and continue on with the story. Like I said, I feel like there was some hype feeding into my rating on this one. I know this book is still super popular, so I'm going to unhaul it and hopefully someone else finds it and loves it. Unhauling Flowers of the Moon by David Grant. It's a non-fiction book that I read a while ago. If I don't find a non-fiction book impactful enough to keep it, I typically unhaul it shortly thereafter, and this one kind of missed my last purge of books. The story was good at the time, however, it's not something I feel like I'll need to revisit. Unhauling are numbered days because poetry is something I typically read once and then I'm done with. The only reason I have this one in my collection is because my library didn't have it and I didn't know how long it would take for them to get it, and I was reading this with someone, and so I'm unhauling this. A similar thing can be said for Depression and Other Magic Tricks. This book, other collection of poems, and while I enjoyed most of the works in it, I just didn't love a couple of pieces, and it's not something that has moved me to the point where it should stay on my shelf. Also unhauling American Fire by Monica Hess. I read this last month and it was kind of a middle of the road nonfiction book, and like I just said a little bit ago, I don't typically keep nonfiction if I just think it's kind of the middle of the road, so this one is going to be leaving. Next, I'm unhauling Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. I honestly thought I got rid of this the last time, however I guess I didn't, and so I'm unhauling it this time. Unhauling Moonstruck Volume 1, Magic to Brew, because I don't feel like continuing on with the series. There was a couple of things that I found problematic in the first volume that I just don't want to continue on in the series, but it was overall very cute, but I just don't want to continue on. I'm also unhauling Before We Met by Lucy Whitehouse. I read this in October and the mystery was good enough at the time. I feel like I'm going to go back and reread it. Mysteries and thrillers I typically don't want to revisit, so this one was fun at the time, but it wasn't my favorite, so it doesn't need to stay on my shelf. Unhauling Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. I just don't feel the need to have this one on my shelf. Another series that I'm unhauling is the Diviner series by Libba Bright, The Diviner and Layer of Dreams. I decided to unhaul this series because I just haven't gotten around to Layer of Dreams, and as time has gone on, I just don't have as much interest as I once did, and I don't feel like I loved the first book enough to want to reread it and continue on. So I am also unhauling The Stranger by Albert Camus. I just couldn't get into this one. It was very philosophy. Don't need to keep it. Another random one on my shelf that I've never read and probably never will, The Fangirls Guide to the Galaxy. So this one needs to go. Another one that I'm unhauling is Toyland Travel, 15 Tales of Women in Witchcraft. I ended up giving this about an average of around 4-ish stars, but the stories I really loved aren't worth keeping this over. This will be leaving. Another one I'm unhauling is Tosh Hart's Tolstoy, Catherine Ormsby. I read this one a really long time ago and I don't see myself revisiting it. I'm unhauling Doing It by Hannah Witten. Unhauling You'll Miss Me When I'm Gone by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This book was pretty middle of the road for me, so I just don't feel the need to keep it. And lastly, I'm unhauling When Dimple Met Rishi by Zendaya Mignon. This is another case of, as time has gone on, I'm wondering if the hype had influenced my rating. And I don't feel the need to revisit the story. How about you? Have you unhauled books recently? How do you feel about unhauling? Did I unhaul anything that you think I should have unhauled a while ago? Do you think I'm going to regret anything I've unhauled? Let me know in the comments down below. Like what you saw here, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a nice day!